I'm 24. I still live with my parents and I want to leave my full-time corporate job to pursue running my own catering business full-time. I don't know if now is the time to make the leap and I'm not too sure how to bring it up to my parents. So what should sis do?
Ooh, quite the pickle, isn't it?
Very much so. I think this is one of the biggest challenges that people face when you're still really young and you still live under your parents' roof, or you still consider your parents' opinion like really high to the point where it really does guide your next steps and your decisions. You're not really that independent yet.
Yeah.
I think the biggest question that everyone has is, especially if you have like traditional parents who are less risk averse, I guess, they will tell you to stay in your corporate job. So everyone's issue is like, okay, I've now secured this job and I guess it's a corporate job, so it must be paying good bank. How do I tell my parents I'm going to leave my corporate job to take the risk to be an entrepreneur?
Because that's exactly what you are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one, because I feel like it very much depends on what kind of relationship you have with your parents first and foremost.
Okay.
Some parents are more open, some parents are less open. But I think baseline, it definitely does need to be a conversation. And I think trying to make sure that you lead that conversation with very specific intentions is also important. As well as making sure that you're having a clear, open and honest conversation with parents. Because I think sometimes we think of our parents as these big looming figures, and for a lot of people, maybe that's the relationship that they've had with them. 100. But as you're 24, you're an adult, so you actually have to level with them, you know. He's looking at me like...
The reason why I'm looking at you like that is it just came to my mind. Some people's parents see them as children. Not just their child, but actual children. And I think sometimes it comes from a good place of like, I want you to do something that's secure, secure your future and stuff. But then other times it's like, how do you give somebody the room to experiment, to be themselves, and sometimes to fail? Because it's not guaranteed that you'll, go, I mean, we wish you all the best, sis. Like, we're praying for the best for you, all the success. But with entrepreneurship, there's never a guarantee that you'll be successful, right? I feel like some parents have a real tight hold on their kids from letting them fail. And I think sometimes my advice would be go in there. When I was telling my mum that right after graduation, I'm going to pursue doing my hair business full time. I've been doing it for nearly 3 years now, so it's been going well, thank God. But when I did explain it to her, she was kind of like on board. And then she asked me, okay, so what's your plan? And I think when I gave her the plan and when I told her that I really believe in myself, that's when she was like, okay, I'm on board. Even to now, sometimes I still have to like reiterate and continue to convince her. But I feel like my parents got on board when I came to them with a plan. But even when I gave them that plan, I did have to let them know that whilst I'm going to apply myself and try my absolute hardest to make sure that this succeeds, yes, there will be a chance that this fails. They need to give me the leeway to be free to take that risk.
Yeah. And I think also for me, it's about context as well. So understanding that your parents may not know what success looks like for your generation versus their generation.
That's so good.
Because when I started pursuing all sorts of side projects and side hustles, right? My mom just didn't really understand it at all. She was just like, why don't you just have like one job and then, go ahead with that?
Right.
But a lot of parents may not know about, the current job market situation where it's actually not feasible to have the one job or the one corporate job.
Gone are the days.
Fulfill every kind of sense of success that you may want in this life. So making sure that you have a candid conversation around, the context that you're living in, your generation, the job market, the way things are going as well, to help them understand that this is different to your generation. You guys may have been able to purchase a house at like, 10K through a corporate job, earning X amount a year. That's not the same for all of us.
And when you be hearing those stories of like, when I bought my house, it just cost us 2K. 2K.
Do you know what it is? It's the fact that they bought their house for the price of the deposit for a house now. And
some of us spend 2K in like going December travels.
This is it. This is it. Like 2K is literally nothing now in terms of like 2K is bills.
I mean, thank God that their investments have appreciated, but for us, it's a struggle. So I get what you're saying. I think it's explaining to them that this is a calculated risk. With the present circumstances for me, my generation, my age, I'm not doing something because I'm lazy. I'm not, because I think sometimes they can see it as, don't you want this, like the discipline of working? And it's like, entrepreneurship is discipline as well. And whilst a lot of people also understand the magnitude of that, I think it's also explaining that in my context, this is a calculated risk. Like this is, especially you're doing it like Sis is doing it at 24, right? And 24 is that time where you may not be married yet. You probably don't have kids yet. And you're living at home with your parents. Like you can actually explain, this is the best conditions for me to do this, because there's such, I say little at stake, but in comparison to most people maybe starting this in their 30s, marriage, mortgage, all of that. This is the best time. Like it's very low risk. So come with a plan, explain to them that this is a calculated decision. You've thought about it. You maybe prayed about it. You've got all this, like, you've got faith in yourself as well. And try to convince them. But then what do you do if they say no?
That's very much up to you to deal with the ramifications, because having family disagreements, particularly with your parents, is never nice.
Never.
However, if you do, I don't want to be that person that's like a home wrecker. But if you do, if you do believe in, I don't want to say just dream, because it's not just a dream, but actually your calculated risk, then do you want to live a life? Like what is more important to you? Would you rather have your parents' approval and continue with your corporate role, or would you rather have their disapproval for like a moment or like some time whilst you pursue something that you genuinely believe is of purpose to you? So it's really about what is more important to you in the grand scheme of things, and deciding to take whatever option is most important to you, really, in the grand scheme of things.
This is true.
Parents live vicariously through their kids all the time.
This is another thing. No, but this is another thing. Because I think this is one of the biggest issues. Like our parents, out of love, can project their fears and their insecurities onto us. And I think you've got to realize that you are your own person living your own life. And whilst your parents have been given the blessing and the privilege to steward you, and you appreciate their wisdom and their experience and stuff, like I said, they just have to at some point trust that they've raised you well enough, and they trust you enough. It's a matter of trust, right? Do you trust me enough to maybe fail but be able to pick myself up, or to be able to go out and voyage on my own and try out something and succeed? Do you trust me to do that, even if it's just for a small set period of time? Honestly, why not?
You might even want to wait, like make it as easy as possible to wager with them. Say something like, give me a year to see if this works. Give me a year or two to see if this works. You'll be what, like 25, 26? Still within your remit to go and get, another role if it doesn't work out and stuff like that. But if you, barter with them and say, give me this time period, allow me this time to see if this is successful or, this could be a failure. And then I'm willing to, do the alternative.
It's true. And this can even be a motivation for you. You can say like, I'll give you updates every 3 months, or I'll give you updates every 6 months, and you can kind of see where I'm going. I want to hear your advice and your input. If they really want to be like hard-headed about it and we're not going to give you the release, I'm so sorry, but I'm a legal adult. And I think some of us also need to relinquish, especially as women. I think this whole like, for a lot of us, especially if you're like, it may be a cultural thing, but I think especially as women, like your parents find it harder to let you kind of flee the nest. And when you're deciding your career choices and becoming an entrepreneur, it really is about autonomy, initiative, and making your own decisions and being a decision maker by yourself. And I think parents sometimes find it hard to let you flee the nest in that way, even if you're still living at home, to know that you're in charge of your money, your income, everything is down to you. That can be difficult. And I think you have to kind of sometimes put your foot down and say, I appreciate everything that you've taught me and that you are my parents. I still honor you. I still respect you, but I'm not a baby. I'm not a baby. And I think it's important for you to realize that as you're coming into your own as a woman, into womanhood, into adulthood, you've got to start having your own voice, and you've got to start having your own confidence to be able to make your own decisions. And sometimes that means kind of, you know, untethering yourself from your parents a bit.
Yeah.
And it may be, you know, painful for them, but did they not have to leave their parents' home as well? Like, everyone has had to make transitions, and
exactly.
this is yours, as uncomfortable as it may be for them.
Some of them even left earlier than us. Some of them were leaving at 18, 17. You're 24 and they're already shouting. Goodness.
So that would be our advice, and we wish you the best in everything that you're doing in your catering businesses. Go on and flourish, literally grow and glow. Right. Okay. If you are thinking about how you're able to send a dilemma to us, you can either DM us on Instagram at @tomysisterhood or on Twitter, or you can email us on hello@tomysisters.com and we will answer your questions for you.